why the Polish UFO encounter is the most credible one yet. On the morning of 10th of May 1978, a 71-year-old farmer named Jan Wolski from Emilson was the subject of a very long and clear alien encounter. Of course, non-believers were quick to search for reasons why this abduction, like any other, lacks credibility, but could come up with no more than a handful of highly dubious ones. The extraterrestrial beings were also seen by a 6-year-old boy. Just for yoga practice, let's give the 6-year-old to the skeptics and say a small child's imagination can run free, although in 1978 there was no internet and they were not showing any Occidental UFO movies in Poland at the time. The kid had no prior UFO knowledge, so at most the skeptics can argue collective memory, but that would also work on ufology's favor, meaning his ancestors had also encountered extraterrestrials. Modern-day encounters are hard to believe because of all the hype and technology that make it easy to hoax such an event. However, the complete absence of media exposure in the 70s and 80s, especially in a country like Poland, makes these people's statements very credible. Now let's focus on Jan Wolski and his depiction of what happened on that morning. He remembered leaving his house in a wagon at 5 in the morning. More than 2 hours into his trip in the countryside up the road, he noticed what he first thought were two hunters heading in the same direction. He described them pacing their steps so his wagon could catch up, and when he did, the official report says it was at this point that Wolski was struck by the greenish tinge of their faces. The way in which they walked was like the way that divers walk on the seabed. They were performing subtle jumps, recalls the old farmer. Doctors Bignew Blania Bolnar, a well-respected sociologist, questioned Wolski and wrote a report including personal conclusions. In his own words, the farmer described the aliens wearing something resembling one-piece scuba diving gear. People say that such outfits are worn by divers, but I never saw a diver, so I cannot say. This is also a statement which gives strong credibility to this case. Jan Wolski was a religious man, raised as a Roman Catholic, so he did not believe in extraterrestrial existence. His first guess was that the strange human-like beings were probably of Asiatic descent, and his thoughts when asked about this were, "Nothing, what is there to think? I see more freaks, so what?" The two walked along his wagon for a short period of time, then peacefully seated themselves on each side until they reached their destination. Wolski remembered not feeling endangered at any time, even though he could not understand what they were saying. "They did not address me, they talked among themselves, but who could understand such a language?" he said. When they got to the actual alien craft, the farmer, with no prior UFO information whatsoever, saw a gigantic rectangular-shaped bus with a base made out of wood simply sitting in the air. Let's see the skeptics try to explain this one. Wolski told investigators how the humans-like beings were eating something that crumbled like bread, which he refused when offered. Another detail he remembers are tube-shaped holes in the corners with fast-rotating screws. The aliens used gestures when asking him to step on the pad that lifted him into a dark room with small benches, and here 2 more similar creatures were waiting and signaled him to strip. He said, "I took off everything and just stood there, and the other one held in his hand something like 2 plates. He stood in front of me and put these plates together so that they clicked. Then that one who came with me turned me on the side, raising my arms, and the other clicked again." My question here is, why did he go with them and undress and allow them to do all these things? That's silly. Now, he said the basic simple language used by the farmer when describing the incident makes it hard to deny. He also tells of cows on the UFO floor, which were not dead but somehow inanimate or paralyzed. These small details simply would not add up if he was just seeking attention or trying to hoax the event. In the official report, Dr. Bolnar concluded that there is no doubt that the witness is deeply convinced that all what he has experienced was an objective reality. The local priest, who would be practically obligated by the church to deny any extraterrestrial existence at the time, was of the same opinion, QED. In the year since, a small monument was erected at the location of the encounter, and the event even made the pages of the Polish comic book, so at least locally, people believe the same man when he sees strange things. And this is on Collector Spark. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.